Hi, welcome. My name is Dale McCluskey. And on this video, I'd like to take a minute to talk about the whole context of exercise once the intervention starts to take place where you're starting to, or I'm helping to bring people into right relationship with their dog. Why it's important to start to pull back from just various entrenched routines, such as having to take your dog for a 2 mile walk to exercise them. Why oftentimes that those routines, although yes you're expelling energy with your dog, they're relationally disconnected. Okay, which means that they're not they're not helping that owner come into proper alignment as it relates to fulfilling the leadership role. And so, you may be walking your dog, but the dog is still kind of like toll boothing the person, objectifying and holding power. So, once I, come online and start to help people via this relational model, and what I show is it's not about distance. It's not about just focusing on the body that way. The focus needs to shift onto the mind. Okay, within the script itself, within making sure when the walk is happening, the dog's decision-making process is coming within the follower script. Okay, relationally. So therefore, what I show is that your focus changes. So therefore, and I'll get to the whole thing about exercise here in a second, but instead of distance, you need to focus on the mind. So therefore, when you start to come online and start to fulfill the leadership role, what you'll find is you're going to get some kickback. I mean, the dog isn't going to. That's why when the leash comes out and the tail starts wagging, oftentimes the dog is already jumping, the mind's jumping. You're merely a kind of a means to an end. You're kind of like the toll booth. The dog's putting a quarter in so they can get down the street and kind of wrap their minds and they're seeking fulfillment through power, through different situations in dogs which have been established. They've connected these dots. So the tail wagging isn't a good thing. I mean, that's where appearances can be very deceiving. And because you're just along for the ride, so to speak, when it comes to the walk. That's why once you start to, the dog gets a sense that you're starting to change how you think, how you interact, you're coming in the right relationship. The dog is going to resist the walk that way. Okay, they're going to start to not like it, so to speak. But that's the whole point. I mean, the point is there has to be a transition phase. So but when we talk about exercise, once you start working the dog's mind this way, once you start engaging them rightly through nature, what you'll find is, I mean, that's where the exercise, true exercise, is going to come through, because it's mind and body. So you may not even make it out your front door via leadership. The dog's really kicking up, and and don't get me wrong, you're advancing the role change process. So it's all about technique. I show people how to do it smart. And so the walk will totally line up, and you'll have a amazing walk within a very short period of time, and it's going to be enjoyable and all that. And but within the context of starting to engage the dog rightly, what you'll find is that's where the exercise. The dog is going to be totally spent. I mean, in a good way. I mean, that's why when I'm doing a session with the dog owners, they oftentimes will say, Dale, when you left my dog slept for hours. I mean, because there's a purging effect. It's a good thing, because they're coming into a follower, into the follower script. So what that does is it releases all that stress off them as well. So they balance out. They become very relaxed. So you have to kind of be able to step back from it to understand that once you start focusing on the mind and coming in the right relationship, you're doing your dog a big favor. I mean, it's not as though, although you're going to get some challenge, it makes sense to the dog. It's nature, so it's not done out of meanness or to break your dog's spirit or drive. That's not what training's about. That's not what role change is about. Okay, it's about lifting the stress off your dog, and starting to shrink back the walk so that you can come in the right relationship, so the walk becomes a enjoyable experience, and the dog is right beside you. They're going to follow a script, and then you even start to think about getting your dog totally off leash. I mean, because again, the leash is just a connection point, so it all comes together. So it's something just to think about when you're thinking about exercise, or thinking about how this all plays out. That when you start to engage your dog this way through mind and body, it's the best exercise you can ever give your dog, and it's going to totally balance them out, and they start to calm out and balance out, and you're going to have the best walk that you've ever had in your life once everything starts coming online. So anyway, just something to think about. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you have a great day.